Okay, trying to kick off the 2024 auto off-topic group build with the Beemax, Platts, New, whatever they're calling it, Volvo 240 Turbo DTM Champion, because it's got a nice, simple paint scheme. Solid white with a couple decals. I've also wanted to try one of these new kits from Beemax and see what they're like before I try some of the other ones that I have. So I figured this was a good one to start with. Here's the body. It's white, kind of hard to see with all the light I have here. There it is. Nice plastic packaging. It's got some flashing. It's not perfect, but you know, not too big of mold lines. There's a mold line across the trunk. So I'm going to do some sanding, prep it, get ready to paint. It looks like they pulled the mold line here along the cowl and then along the hood panel. I'm going to turn this light down a little bit. Ooh. There's like a spot where it's kind of works, and then no. Unfortunately, it's kind of hot on the camera, but I'll have to play with that a little bit. Settings. But anyway, I'm trying to do bench builds here for Auto Off Topic and Scale Autocast. So this is one of the bench builds. It's got Renault wheels that are chrome. Again, kind of hard to see with the light. Way a little bit. Yeah, some flashing. Chrome's not like... I can tell these are not like Tamiya level kits, but you know, definitely like Aoshima, which is I think what they partner with. There's all the glass. All the window trims look like they are on the outside of the glass and will fit into the body when it's done. So it seems like there's not a lot of black trim that would be done on the body, which is kind of nice. So that's pretty interesting. The rest is molded in black, including the chassis. You know, it's got real rubber slick tires here. They're pretty hard rubber. They don't feel as soft as like Tamiya stuff. Yeah, the chassis is black. Let's see here. Let's start opening stuff up. Get rid of this plastic. I like to save the plastic because you can use it for masking things. So you don't have to use a bunch of tape over everything if you need to mask something big. So I do try to keep the plastic. It's interesting. This almost looks like... I don't know. It's weird the way the plastic is. It almost looks like it's painted, but I don't think it was painted from the factory. But it's just the way it came out of the mold, I guess. Well, most will get painted satin gloss, or sorry, satin black. Chassis should be white. The fuel tank, which is this, the fuel cell, says in the instructions, I already read ahead, should be black. So I'm gonna have to figure out. I've got some liquid mask, maybe. So this, assuming it's still good. Yeah, it looks like it's still good. It's been sitting for a while. I've used this before. It works pretty well. And I think I might use that on here and then paint this all white and then peel it off and leave this. This black plastic might work just fine for it. And the rest of this I'll have to probably paint. I'll paint the door panels with Tamiya satin black, and the same with the spoiler, the bumpers, the grille, the seat, the dash. This will have to be white. So I'll probably do like gray primer and then white primer, and then just leave it. The white primer should actually work pretty well as an interior color, where it's kind of flat. I don't think I'll do the gloss on the inside. Maybe, I don't know. And open this up. Let's see, you get separate pieces for the brakes and the ducts, the brakes, and the steering wheel. Some of the stuff needs detail painting. I actually have a photo etch set coming for this car that's got all this stuff, so we'll check that out when I get it. So yeah, I'll see how I want to detail this stuff. Let's see. There's some flashing around the roll cage pieces where it came out of the molds. So the way I like to do roll cages, and I'll show you that when I get to it, is I unclip them from the sprue, and I'll actually use wherever they mount, which is probably in the interior bucket, as basically a jig, kind of like you were building a real race car. And I'll glue the cage together after I clean up a lot of the flashing, probably using the X-Acto blade, doing this, maybe a little bit of sandpaper. Because from what I can tell in the instructions and my research on the internet, this should be sort of a chromoly steel kind of color. So, and the rest of this is probably mostly black with some detail painting. I saw some pictures online of what the suspension arms look like, and I think they were like anodized blue or red, depending on the side. So, gonna look into that. But, not a bad looking kit. Let's see, instructions. Got all your colors here. It's actually nice. They've got, they tell you the colors, and then of course they have, because everybody's standard is Tamiya, they tell you the Tamiya color codes. But, everything's pretty well laid out here. It's a pretty simple kit, looks like. It's part of the prep of the body. Very hard to see. There it is. You're going to have to cut out the holes here on the inside of the body. These are for the quick fill for the fuel on the real car. So I've seen some trans kits to turn this into a street car, so I guess you could leave those closed. Do the window masks. It came with window masks. So get those to focus. And then the decals. I don't want to open this decal sheet yet until I need it. That's always a good idea so nothing gets damaged. It's like too bright. There, you can kind of see them. They're just real simple decals. And it's got a full color sheet on how to apply them, which is kind of nice. So you can see how simple the decals are. So the car is just going to be white with black accents. And I've got for it, I bought some of this gloss white zero paint. It doesn't require clear coat. Just says apply 2 light mist coats followed by 1 to 2 wet coats. It says apply clear coat for higher level of gloss, but unlike most zero paints, this will dry gloss, I guess. Alright, I'll put most of the stuff back in here. I don't need it at the moment. Not quite ready to paint the chassis, but I can get the body ready. And I'm going to just clean up some of the mold lines. I'm going to leave these supports in for now. I like to remove these at the end because, if I'm being honest, these A-pillars, they don't look as bad if you've ever built one. They don't look nearly as bad as the Fujimi EG Civic kit that always break, but they do look fairly thin. So I will leave them intact while I'm handling this, doing the sanding and washing it. I will probably remove them right before I'm ready to paint it, and I'll clean it one more time. You know, of course, because you need to make sure to wash the bodies because they come with mold release on them. And there's my sandpaper. It fell down. This is just 400 grit. And just kind of hitting all the edges. Most of the stuff comes off fairly easy. Nothing too heavy, so starting at the bottom, going around all the edges here. Doesn't take much to get this stuff off. A little bit here. Edge of the taillight opening. Carefully take that off. I don't want to damage the rub strip. There we go. Some around the taillight openings. A good way to find where the mold lines are, especially in modern kits. They really try to do a good job of hiding them in door panel seams and trunk seams, so usually if you look around that area, you'll find some. Yeah, depending on the quality of the kit, they're either good or bad. This one's got a little dip there. Let's see. There's one on the trunk right here. It's very hard to see with the way the light is and this being a white body, but trust me, it's there. I do my best to get rid of it without getting rid of any body detail. I don't like to use super aggressive sandpaper for this reason. 400 grit's probably about as aggressive as I would get. I'm going to cut out where it was in the trunk lid seam, because I don't want that to fill in. Starting to go away. Almost there. That's pretty good. Clean out the seam here. That's all it takes. Not bad. Let's see. There's a little bit right around here. Alright, and there's a little bit up the A-pillars, right at the corner of the top of the windshield. It's really so light, it doesn't take much. You know, it's a Volvo, they weren't super rounded shapes, but they did have fairly brutalist edges here. Just being real careful not to knock off any details. and just take off what's needed. A little bit at the bottom of the A-pillars, kind of right down the hill, right down the hood. Watch out for the molded in hood pins. I think that looks pretty good. And then I do this, now I'll clean it, get all my fingerprints off and mold release off and clean all the extra stuff out of here. Be careful scribing the panel lines, scratch it. There's no plastic in there. It'll disappear and get filled in with paint. Panel lines are pretty slight. I don't know, looks pretty good. Alright, that is as far as I'm going to go tonight. So this is the first episode of building this Volvo 240, and I'll try to do some more as I go along with the build. Alright, thanks for watching, and tune in to Scale Autocast on YouTube.